Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. This is your Manchester United Transfer News Daily, where we talk about all the latest Manchester United transfer news and give it that real fan opinion. And we will be talking about Bruno Fernandes. I know a lot of people want to know about that. There has been a little bit of an update from the Portuguese media, but I want to just fly straight into the far left. We're not getting political. I want to talk about Aubameyang on the left. I never thought on this entire transfer window daily thing throughout the summer that we would ever use an Arsenal badge. I really couldn't see that ever happening, and I probably still couldn't, but there was a story yesterday. It came from TalkSport. Hold on before you start saying anything about it. It's Andy Goldstein, who I actually really like, who is a United fan, a fellow United fan, and he was saying on TalkSport that he has a contact in the game who is a bit of a source, and over the years has given him information, and he sort of has a 75%, 25% strike rate, so gets it right 75% of the time. He was the person who told Andy about Martial, and Andy Goldstein did tweet 2 days before we signed Martial about that. So what he's saying is, and take it or leave it, he even said it himself, is that Manchester United are interested in signing Aubameyang from Arsenal, who's got 2 years left on his contract. He's just turned 30 years of age, for 70 million quid. Now look, it's probably not going to happen. I would say it isn't going to happen, but it's an interesting story. United have done it before. We've done it with Van Persie. We did it with Sanchez. Could we do it with Aubameyang? What I would say about Aubameyang is that if you go back through previous United Stand transfer summers, we've done a few of them. I really did like Aubameyang, and I never really understood why we didn't go for him. I thought he was, especially in the Dortmund days, would have been a perfect striker for us. And you look at what we ended up with, Lukaku and even Zlatan. I think Aubameyang long term would have been good. Do I want Aubameyang at 30? He's definitely better than what we've got. But to be honest with you, I don't even want Aubameyang. I mean, if we signed him, I'd go decent signing. But I don't actually want Aubameyang. He's a good player, but I don't want him. I think that there are other strikers we could go for that would give us different things. And I think, you know what? Taking Arsenal's best players, it needs to stop, doesn't it? And I don't think anything will come of it, but just throwing it in there, I'm sure a lot of you are going to get in the comments about that. Please do have your say. Would you take him or not? I would take him, but I hope there's nothing in it, if that makes sense. Anyway, let's talk about Bruno Fernandes, because, look, is the Bruno Fernandes dream about to die? I was talking about this last night. I always felt that Juan Mata was going to leave United. The number 8 shirt would be vacated. Bruno Fernandes would come to United and wear the number 8. And that's what I saw happening. And a shirt number doesn't necessarily mean anything, but that Juan Mata contract extension does. Somewhere along the line, that means either a youth player's not getting promoted or we're not signing a player. Very interesting thing last night I read from Phil Brown, who has been on the show before. Really like him. You know, he's based over in America. He does his stuff over there, and he does get little bits from various people. And he was saying, you know, again, not sure if it turns out to be true or not, but he was told by a quite prominent agent that Manchester United are going to have to sell before they buy significant signings. Now I think Daniel James would not be a significant signing. Maybe is Wan-Bissaka at £50 million a significant signing, but I think we're talking about players sort of 60, 70, 80, 90 million pounds. United have got to sell before they can buy them. I mean, if there is any truth in that, we will find out, but we are going to sell Lukaku, by the way, and maybe we're going to sell Pogba, but we'll know the total spend at the end of the transfer window, and if a lot of that spend is because we've sold players, what the hell's going on? We should have been going into this transfer window with at least £200 million, regardless of anybody going. So we'll see what happens with that. But Bruno Fernandes would probably fit into that category. I think £60 million is what we've got below. The latest from Portugal is that Manchester United, Spurs back in it. I think it was Ebola talking about this. Look, it's very difficult to rank Portuguese reports and outlets. Some of them are more credible than others, but the reality is, remember Gayton of Benfica. We were signing him every single summer. The Portuguese press and Manchester United mentions can get a little bit carried away with themselves, and it's hard to tell. What I know is that United are significantly interested in Bruno Fernandes, or were significant. I don't know what the situation is today. I know that we've scouted him most of last season. I know that he was a priority as we went towards the end of the season, and I do believe that United are trying to do a deal. But how aggressively we're trying to do that deal, I don't know. And whether we're walking away from that deal now Matt has signed the contract, I'm scared. So I haven't got the hotometer today. I'll do it tomorrow. But if I did have the hotometer up, I think Bruno Fernandes would be dropping down to 60% again, because I am concerned about the deal. But what they're saying is that Spurs are back in the race. Manchester United are sort of... They're basically saying that Manchester United are observing the situation, hoping that the long game means that they'll get him for cheap. And again, I mean, look, how many times are we going to do this? We seem to do it every bloody summer. Perisic, Alexandro, Wan-Bissaka at the moment. We're doing it with Bruno Fernandes. This obsession with getting players for cheap. Let's drag it out in the hope that we get them for cheap. And you know what? A lot of the time we just don't do the deal. We dragged it out with Perisic, we didn't do the deal. We dragged it out with Alexandro, we didn't do the deal. We don't know. Hopefully we will do the deal with Wan-Bissaka, but what if we drag that out and don't do the deal again? Bruno Fernandes could be the same. And look, there is interest in Bruno Fernandes. I'm surprised there's not a lot more interest. I'm surprised there isn't a bidding war, and maybe there will be, because his record speaks for itself, and there's no doubting he's a very, very talented midfielder who can get you goals, set pieces, the lot, and he's only 24. And he's available for about 60 million quid. Now, that might be quite expensive for some clubs, but for a club like Manchester United that finished 6th comfortably, they should be looking for more with that. I hope something develops with Bruno Fernandes, but the first time in this transfer window, and I've been on about this for months, and I've been going, look, we're going to get Bruno Fernandes. I always knew we would. I'm significantly concerned about this now. And maybe that's just the negativity and, you know, that the Mata thing's caused, but I am a little bit worried, because I know for a fact that Juan Mata extension... Well, it means something I didn't think was going to happen. I thought Mata was walking out the door, which means there's a spot in the team for a promotion from the youth or a new signing. That door's been slammed shut on something now. I don't know whether it's a youth player or a transfer, but I am a little bit concerned. Another player we've been linked to, and we did mention him before, Lo Celso of Real Betis, isn't it? I think he plays for Real Betis. The badge is there. 23 years of age. He's currently playing in the Argentinian national side in the Copa America. So heavily linked with Spurs. £70 million. Very good season for Betis. Plays centre midfield, CDM, attacking midfield. He can play a lot of positions. Goals and assists last year. Very, very, very good player. Heavily linked with Spurs. Spurs seem to think they're going to get that deal done, so why would they get Lo Celso and Fernandes? There's relevance there. But there's also relevance because United do keep getting linked to him. I don't think Manchester United are in for him at all. I think United are just being mentioned. You know, we will get this a lot throughout the summer, and we've already had it. Mention United to bump up the price and generate a bit of interest. But he would be a very good signing, and I think Spurs, if they do get that deal over the line, it's going to be very interesting. And the reason I wanted to bring it in is because, one, I don't think United are in for him, and two, even if we were in for him, it's another deal that when would it ever get done? The Copa America goes till the middle of July. So again, it's an odd signing, and we do find ourselves in that world a little bit at the moment. You've got African Nations Cup, Partey, Koulibaly for 2 that we might be interested in. They're off doing that. You've got Wan-Bissaka and Maddison at the under-21s, and you've got people like Lo Celso and a couple of others who are playing in the Copa America, which makes these deals very difficult to do. And again, as I was saying last night, I think we're snoozing on the transfer window again. I think we're being very, 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 very slow. But the interesting thing is, could Spurs sign Bruno Fernandes, Lo Celso and Dembele? I think they'll only sign one. And that leaves 2 other players that maybe, if we actually get our act together, we could be looking at. But we'll see. Adrien Rabiot, I must just say about him, there was something yesterday that he's expected to sign a 5-year contract at Juventus. How the tables have irritatingly turned. Juventus have become this big, big club in the transfer window. And if you'd said this to me 2 years ago, I would have laughed. I would have said, oh, well, you know, they might be able to win the bloody Serie A year in, year out. But the Italian league, it's no concern for PSG, Bayern Munich, the big guns in Spain and England. But they suddenly are. They suddenly are flexing their muscles with Ronaldo. They looked at Aaron Ramsey and they've took him for free. They're now looking at Rabiot, another one who's free. And they're building a decent team, and they're actually higher in the pecking order than Manchester United. And maybe they were a competitor of United's, but they're way, way ahead of us now. And that's a player that we would have really liked, I think, and a very, very good player. It doesn't mean it's not going to happen, but it's looking like Juventus. And I think, you know what, if he's got the option of Juventus or Manchester United, I've got to be honest with you, why would he choose Manchester United? It stands to reason that he would do that. Just very quickly on Harry Maguire, apparently we're £40 million off the valuation that Leicester have put on him, which the mind boggles as to how have we offered 60 million and they want 100 million. Have we offered 10 million and they want 50? You never know with Woodward. But apparently we're 40 million pounds off that deal. With there was talk of us offering up Andreas Pereira as part of that deal. Because Brendan Rodgers is an admirer of his and apparently wanted him when he was at Celtic days. You know what? I would do that deal. I think I would. I don't really see a future for Andreas Pereira at Manchester United. I think if he was to have a future at United now, you'd almost need to send him off to a Leicester with a first refusal buyback clause. And if he set the world on fire, you bring him back in his mid-20s. I don't see him developing at United now into a first-team player. I think he'd just be a bit part player and he'll go eventually anyway. And the interesting thing with Pereira is his contract's he's here for another year, but he won't sign another contract. So I think United maybe need to do something with Pereira, so that is quite interesting. There was some talk about Issa Diop as well. Sky are adamant that we're interested in him. And West Ham apparently don't want to sell. There was a story that we'd offered them Phil Jones and 45 million, and they wanted Martial and 45 million. I mean, forget about it. Forget about it. You're not having Martial anyway, but I was quite encouraged that we were trying to get Phil Jones out of the club, but it's clearly paper talk because we've just given him a 5-year contract. But imagine that. Get rid of Phil Jones and get a defender and of that quality. It would be fantastic. It really would. There was a little bit about Longstaff yesterday. Apparently Sean Longstaff, I mean, there's so much talk about Sean Longstaff, the Newcastle midfielder, who has actually only played a handful of games for Newcastle. There's so much talk about it. United have clearly scouted him and they quite fancy him. But the story yesterday was that, yes, he is on the list for Manchester United, but he's a bit down the list. And United are confident they can do a deal if they do need to, but they're not working on a deal at the moment because he's down the list. And I think people like Tielemans and Rabiot were mentioned ahead of him. So if we get Longstaff, we know we fucked the list up, don't we? God, I shouldn't be swearing like that, sorry. But yeah, I do feel a little bit like that at the moment with United. They are causing me to swear a little bit, but hopefully they can redeem themselves and pull themselves back. Still plenty of time left in this transfer window, and I hope that we can do something with it. But I think at the moment, I don't blame United fans for being a little concerned. And remember, did I say it yesterday morning or Monday morning? I didn't feel we were going to do a deal this week. I don't know why. We should be doing deals this week, but I just don't feel that there's a deal in the offing. Wan-Bissaka deal, if it gets announced, will be a bit of a flat deal anyway because he won't be unveiled and we'll have to wait for that. And what else are we working on? There's no rumours of any other deals being worked on. So I think we're running out of time this week already. I mean, hopefully something will start to build this week for next week, but at the moment it just doesn't feel like there's any deals to be done. And I'm fed up of repeating the fact that we've bought a backup left winger. We've basically done what Mourinho did with Sanchez. We didn't need that left winger and we bought him. And United have done that. We've bought a backup left winger who may well become our first choice left winger, but actually priority positions, centre back, 2 midfielders, right winger, right back, we haven't got any of them yet. So it is a little bit of a concern, isn't it? What else did I want to talk to you about? Wan-Bissaka, Wan-Bissaka, we'll see what happens with that. Apparently United are going to get that deal done and then look at a midfielder. We need 2, by the way. Longstaff we've spoken about. We've spoken about Bruno, it being a waiting game. We've spoken about Lo Celso as well. We've spoken about Aubameyang. I think that's where we're at with it at the moment. So thanks everyone for watching. Please do smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. We're nearly at 475,000 subscribers now, so please keep subscribing, getting involved. We've got that big party coming up in August, the 500,000 subscribers. I hope that all of you can come to that one. It'd be absolutely amazing. So smash a like, get subscribing, and obviously we'll go live if there's anything today. We need some positivity today. But I said this yesterday, the club don't seem to care. They don't seem to care. Like, we've finished the season on a major low and we've been given nothing in this summer to get excited. If I was at United, I'd be like, can we give the fans something to get excited about? Are we just going to keep them in this persistent state of frustration and confusion? Give us something. Come on, you've got to be planning something. Give us something. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll speak to you all later.